I'm representing Impact Data today, for those of you who don't know me, and thanks to our hosts, Tyra, for letting me be here, and of course Redcat for inviting me. We work really closely with Redcat in Australia and the UK, and we're really excited about helping Redcat customers leverage their loyalty program. That's fundamentally what we're here to do. As a customer communications platform, we want to take your loyalty program outside of your premises and actually bring it to life and engage your customer in a way that when they walk back in the door, they're educated where they're at on their loyalty journey. They come ready to participate, just as Lauren sort of mentioned. You know, if you're a bit passive about communications, everything has to happen at your operations level. So really what we're trying to help brands understand is that communications engagement is how you take the customers from acquisition to advocacy. And I think what Lawrence was sort of talking about earlier was that you can actually create advocates, and there's a few brands in here today, Yochi and Oaktree, who absolutely have advocates, and those people help engage your business, but are they helping engage others in your loyalty program? And that's, you know, probably the holy grail of where we want to see QSR, fast food, hospitality loyalty go to. Impact Data has been around for about 25 years, and we work across all hospitality categories. And we see some really strong advocates, and Lawrence mentioned, particularly in the sporting and golf clubs. So I'm absolute rival of Lawrence's at my club, Collingwood. Meeting them on Friday, those of you who weren't paying attention on Anzac Day.
Nobody here cares about football.
But the reality is that tribal nature of what they have created is something that hospitality brands are trying to tap into. And I think there are, you know, examples of how it can happen. So what we do is we connect just basically your Redcat data, all of your Redcat customer data, and get you an ROI in your loyalty program. If you don't have a loyalty program in your business, do not enter that, you know, strategy lightly. It touches every single part of your business. It's not a marketing function, it's not an IT function, it's not an operations function or a finance function. It's an everybody always on function. And if your business is not structured to understand that, you're never going to realise the full potential of your loyalty program. So that's some really important things to think about. And when you, the boys here, we did this when we first started talking about leveraging the Oaktree loyalty program. We're all in the room, all of the teams, to actually understand how it's going to impact each team. And that's really important. You really need to think about that. Omnichannel loyalty is the holy grail, and Redcat's probably our only partner that we're able to do that, because there are lots of examples that we see in other markets where I can't identify myself on a kiosk, or I can't identify myself on an app. My sign-up process is different depending on how I interacted with the brand. So that is really important. The consumer does not care about your brand unless they're at their advocate scale. Right, and there's a handful of them. So make it easy, take all of the friction out of your loyalty sign up at every stage. And just actually quoting something from Adam Posner that Marcus mentioned earlier, the most important aspect of your loyalty program is redemption. Because if they're not redeeming, they're not retained customers. They're not actually engaging. So what are you doing to ensure that redemption is regular and celebrated? So looking across the QSR market that we work with, redemption rates are under 10%. That has lots of upside, so we'll call it a challenge, right? We'll call it an opportunity. But the reality is, if your customers are not redeeming, probably they don't know how, they don't know where they're at on their customer journey. Your tech isn't making that easy, i.e. telling your staff that Sarah's got enough points to get her free coffee. All of these things have to work in conjunction. Okay, what we do, you can see it up here, it's technical. We take Redcat data, we turn it into actionable insights, we trigger some messages, we get them to come back, right? It is a bit of science because there is an AI engine that decides when a customer needs the communication, and we trigger those based on your strategic objectives. The most important thing here, though, from our relationship with Redcat, is we're learning every single day about how to make loyalty better together. And so what we're doing with that is always bringing new features to the market and to our partnership so that we can look at what's going on in the UK. The UK is a really different market because almost everything is franchised in the UK. There's almost no independent businesses, particularly in London. So we see things at real scale, and they're pretty creative, but they're also not that great at loyalty. Australians are actually really engaged in loyalty programs. If I asked you how many loyalty programs you are members of, most of you would probably be close to 10. They're active, a lot lower, but you're probably at least enrolled in 10. So one of the things that is really important about your loyalty program is, and Laura's mentioned the personalisation, there's a scale of personalisation when it comes to loyalty. Show me you know me, but don't creep me out. Right, that's really important. And that is particularly true in hospitality because my behaviour, and it's not so much relevant in the QSR brand, but if your brand, for example, serves alcohol in your locations, probably don't show that I had 2 glasses of Chardonnay at the Arabian Club last night. I need to have that reflected back to me, okay? That's just between me and the barman, right? The other thing is, the reality of my experience last night at the Arabian Club was that I was at a board meeting and I was doing certain things. If I was to go there with a girlfriend, and I'm talking about cocktails, again, that's just between me and the barman. My behaviour changes depending on the hospitality occasion and who I'm with. So it's really valuable to know what my customer buys, but it's not necessarily the number one indicator of what I'm going to do in the future. So your loyalty program should be predicated around those assumptions. It should be predicated around the fact that I come, perhaps eating these categories or drinking these categories, and so do I want you to buy more of those? Do I want you to explore deeper into my menu? Do I want to introduce you to some product that I have better margin on? All of those sorts of things, but be careful about showing me you know me too much. But what we can do is when you do send a clever message that's based on my behaviour, we have proven that we can get a 10-fold increase in the likelihood to visit. So the likelihood to visit, statistically, is about 2% of your database would visit in any 7-day period, if you're lucky. We can increase that 10-fold. So finding the time that's going to make my behaviour change, reminding me I'm really close to a reward. Oh, cool. Well, I might even shout Morris a free chips if he's lucky. Those sorts of things have to be part of your communication strategy with your loyalty. Because if you just leave it on-prem, you're just in the real estate business and you're hoping that people are going to walk past. Yeah? You've invested in a loyalty program to own those eyeballs, to earn the right to market to them and get them to come back in. And your loyalty program, just hot tip guys, it's not about your most frequent customers because they're spending as much as they can with you already. It's actually about the right to market to your infrequents because that's where you'll increase your revenue. And keeping them through the value chain, that's the real value of what your loyalty program can deliver. So where we work and help in partnership with Redcat is program design. And so these are my top tips. What can you tell a consumer in 10 seconds that will get them to sign up to your loyalty program? Naomi up there from Yoshi, you've got it nailed. You guys have got it. Free yogurt every 10th visit. That's why coffee cards work well. Now coffee cards work well to acquire, but they don't work well to drive average transaction value necessarily. They need some additional things. So what can you communicate in 10 seconds that gets me, hooks me in? And if you don't know, then you're really going to struggle to acquire me. Because that's as much airtime as I can give you. When you launch your program, it is absolutely about the whole of your business. And one of the things that I have seen that one stakeholder group that perhaps gets forgotten a little bit is the franchisors. how are they engaged? Is it in their KPIs? Is it part of their reporting? And Anthony can talk to this a little bit to help understand how the performance at a particular location is adding value to the business that they've invested in. So that's a really important audience that you need to think about. The other one is also suppliers. Can you get suppliers to stump up for part of your loyalty program? And if they're really embedded in your business and they're part of the way you go to market, can you get them to fund rewards? So, be creative in the way that you think about that. Acquisition, customers to members is an always on. Always on, always on, always on. The flip side of that now in terms of loyalty is, would you like to join our loyalty program because? And the because is the key. The other, no, I won't name the chain that does this, never asks me if I'm a loyalty program, so that's one. And then I've got a local supermarket, they ask me every time, are you a member of the loyalty program? And I say, no, and then they just move on. They never ask me to join. Not once. And I'm getting belligerent about it now. It's like been 7 years. I could have had, a case of French champagne in free rewards. But you haven't asked me, so I won't join. And you haven't made it easy for me. So it's the, are you? Because, oh, you're not? I will actually help you. Moments of magic. Make the moments of magic. The other moment of magic that happens in store is when I redeem. Make me feel like a rock star, not a tightwad. Really, really important. How do you operationalise that in your loyalty program so that you roll out the red carpet when Paola walks in with her 2-for-1 voucher? Because she's chosen to do that. Make her feel valued, not tight. So that's the other thing. Your loyalty program must live at all of your touch points. So Lauren's put up a great slide before about the omni-channel. Loyalty has to be part of those. You might not be accruing, but you might be able to redeem. But just think about the impact that loyalty has at all of the customer touch points. Whether it's asking for feedback, kiosks, all of those sorts of things, wherever. And the biggest one I can suggest is when you look at your sign-up form, check how you ask a customer to opt in for marketing. It's the biggest fail I see in loyalty programs because it says, hey, do you want to sign up for a promotion? So I'm like, no. Why would I want to be spammed? Why not engage my, what I feel about your brand? Would you like to be part of our club and get X? You know what I mean? Bring your personality to life, even in your terms and conditions and in your sign-up forms. And then the real value, as I mentioned, about your loyalty program is actually retention. It's getting access to talk to those customers that aren't actually in your top tiers. Do you know if they're trending away, and what are you doing about it? Use tools like us that automate that for you. Don't spend your time trying to figure it out. That's what AI is for. So a couple of things why consumers will respond to your loyalty program. Show me you know me. So one of the things that Garmin do, which is one of our joint clients, is they tell me, and it's a bit hard to see, but in every communication they send, they tell me what my balance is and how many points I've got. And some of our clients will say, you're close to this, how far you are from your next reward. So even if they're sending me a promotion about Mother's Day or something that's not that relevant, it's still about me. So always make your strategy, your communications about me. Honour where you are in the relationship, keep loyalty front and centre, surprise and delight me. Think about that. And then honour the communication that the customer wants to be communicated in.
Great.
So if they respond to SMS, talk to them via mobile. If they respond on your app, do that. Okay, over to you, Anthony.